Here we'll go over debugging in AndeSight. If we want to debug in AndeSight, we'll first select our project to debug, and we'll select our previous project, JPEG. We want to right click that and come down to debug as, or we can go and click this bug icon here. Clicking this bug icon will put us into the debug perspective. The previous perspective was the C/C++ perspective. That perspective is good for creating and managing projects and editing source codes. This debug perspective is good for obviously debugging and for viewing expressions, memory registers, and properties such as that. The tools, before we get to that, we can see that this box here is the code in our higher level language, and the box below that is our code in assembly language. We can debug in either or. For example, we'll debug in our high level language for this demo. We are on this line right here. We can use our step into or our step over buttons. Our step into and step over buttons will go line by line through this code to debug each line. The difference between the two is that the step over will, when it encounters a function, will step over that function and debug the entire function at once. The step into function, when it encounters a function, will step into that function and debug every line within that function one by one. The benefit of our step into function is that if we want to pinpoint exactly where an issue lies in a function, we can go in and go line by line, step by step. The benefit of our step over function is that it provides us efficiency and speed. So for example, if we step into, we've now stepped into this function right here. And if we continue going, we'll go line by line and debug like so. If we go into a function and we want to step out of it, we want to hit the step return button, for example like this, and we can, for example, if we step over, we'll just go and skip that entire function. It'll still debug the entire function, but we just won't step into that function. Lastly, we can set breakpoints. So we can set points somewhere along the code for us to run our debug and stop at that selected point. So we'll do that by going to any line, and we can go ahead and, for example, right here, we'll go here and we can set one here. All we do is double click on right here and we can see breakpoints that are set along the left, or if we want, we can go to this the breakpoints tab right here and we can see which breakpoints we have set. So now once we have breakpoints set, we can go back to our debug tab and we can resume our debugging. So what we'll do if we press that is we'll go line by line until we stop at a breakpoint like so, and it will have debugged all the previous lines of code up to that breakpoint. So if we hit resume again, we'll stop at the next breakpoint from this breakpoint like so. So that's how we basically debug in AndeSight. We use our step into, step over, and step return buttons, and we can also set breakpoints and resume our debugging, and then we can jump from block of code to block of code based off of where our breakpoints are set.